Well, obviously one of the main themes of Twilight Princess is the fact that Link is starting the game off as an adult. With all the past Zelda games, one of the primary themes in Zelda has been that Link matures throughout the adventure. And this time, because Link is starting off as a more mature Link already, it then becomes difficult to try to express that in the game as the players play along. So this time around, one thing that we focused on is that in addition to Link, being a mature Link, a more adult Link, and thus being able to do a lot of things that a younger Link wouldn't be able to do, we had to try to find a way to balance that out and not only change the gameplay, but also give players an option to allow their player to grow and mature throughout the adventure. And one way that we found to do this was to have Link transform into something other than a human, by which he would lose the abilities that he has as a human. So obviously in wolf form, he can't use the sword or shield or items. And so in that sense, he's kind of reduced to this limited state, but then he's able to gain some of the abilities that you might expect a wolf to have, and he's able to cooperate with this other character. And as to why, in fact, he actually becomes a wolf rather than some other creature, obviously, Link in every game is a hero. And in thinking of what a hero might be in an animal form, we kind of decided that, well, wolves are a creature that really kind of around the world have a very mystical, there's a certain mysticism to wolves, I think in all cultures. And they're also kind of a very, very heroic type creature as well. And so in that sense, we really felt that the wolf was best suited to an animal representation of the hero. Well, obviously because the wolf Link is a wild animal, or the wolf is a wild animal, it'll have abilities that would be reflective of a wild animal, such as vision. The idea that wolves have a different kind of eyesight than humans and can see things differently than humans do, and also hearing as well. And the idea that animals can hear things that humans can't hear. So in terms of, the wolf would have wild animal abilities in that sense, but at the same time, because it is simply a wild animal, it's not really going to be able to fight very well against some of these larger creatures that we see in the game. And so in that sense, the wolf would then pair up with the character Midna, which together they would then partner up and be able to fight those creatures together. So within the Twilight realm, when Link is a wolf, he and Midna will always be together. And then as gradually the Twilight gets pushed back and light is revealed, then Link will transform back into the human form, and then there would be a partnership between he and Midna in a slightly different sense. And so it's not that there's a free separation between the two, but it would definitely change the gameplay. Well, yeah, because the wolf is a four-legged animal, obviously it will move faster than Link. But also then again, because it's a much smaller scale animal than Epona, or the horses, it won't move nearly as fast as the horse. So in that sense, while it certainly can move faster than Link across long distances, it's not going to be as good for that as riding horseback on Epona would be. And that being said, likewise, we're kind of tailoring the actions of the wolf, such as running and jumping, to be appropriate for what you would expect from a wild animal. So in that sense, it will definitely be better at certain things than Link is, but perhaps not better than Link at other things. Well, obviously, with the legend of the Triforce, each piece of the Triforce does have a relationship to each of the main characters, and Ganon is one of those. So in that sense, then Ganon would have a relationship to this game, but as to how he might appear or what he might be doing, we're not going into that just yet. But it's not just Link. He's not the only one that gets sucked in. It's gradually, the Twilight realm is gradually expanding, and as the Twilight expands, it reaches out and grabs anybody just outside and pulls them in. Well, I think one element that we can talk about is that in the way the Twilight realm works is that when humans get pulled into the Twilight realm, they cannot exist in the Twilight realm in their human form. And so when Link goes into the Twilight realm and transforms into the wolf, he finds that animals, unlike the humans, do remain. And so then as wolf, he'll be able to communicate with the animals. And so in that sense, he'll talk with the animals to gain information and whatnot and work with them. And likewise, as you can see in the show floor demo, in one of the dungeons, Link actually helps the animals and cooperates with them in the dungeon level. And we're planning on implementing a lot more elements like that. So while it won't be Link, walking hand in hand with animals, doing fun things together, that you may find more situations whereby Link is helping animals or animals are helping Link, and they're working together to help fight bosses and things like that. So just like in the town area, you can see that Link blows the reed whistle to call the horse, and the horse comes to him, and he's a cowboy. And likewise, he can blow the reed whistle to call the hawk, and interact with the hawk. He's somebody who's very close to animals as it is, and so we intend to continue to develop that and have a lot of situations in the game where people maybe be surprised by the types of interactions that we can have with animals.
そこで初めてそうだったのかってびっくりするようなまた展開があったりっていうそういう展開を考えてます。
Well, no, actually, in this game, when Link enters the Twilight Realm, he transforms into the wolf. And so while I think there may have been, among the staff, some inspiration of the kind of those thematic elements of the moon rising and someone transforming into a wolf originally, that's actually not part of the game system. Well, no, it wouldn't just be the horse. There are many other ways to move about in the game. Well, yeah, obviously, we've taken kind of the beginning of the game and rearranged it specifically for the show floor version to make it easily accessible. That would be kind of the basic flow, but it would start off with Link, kind of setting up the idea that Link is a rancher, wrangler, who takes care of the goats, and then also kind of setting up his relationship to the people of Tuaru Village, which is not a final name at this point. But and then, obviously we've cut a lot of cinematic scenes and a lot of the events that would happen in town from the demo version. So essentially what would happen is you would spend a little bit more time interacting with the people of the village and kind of getting to know them and experiencing the village as Link has experienced it growing up there before setting off on the adventure. Well, yeah, as I mentioned in the round table yesterday, one of our primary goals with this game is to create a game that exceeds Ocarina of Time on many levels. And so in that sense, we do intend to fill the game with a lot of side quests, a lot of mini games, and a lot of puzzles and things that will make the game more challenging for people. Well, in terms of the widescreen mode, I think you'll notice that when the game goes into cinematics, the screen shifts and it stretches into what is technically a 16 by 9 frame. However, if you were to put that up on a widescreen, then when it shifted out of the cinema scenes, then the top and bottom of the standard 3 by 4 screen would then pop off the screen. So I guess in one sense it is kind of widescreen mode. But maybe not the way that you were thinking. And then in terms of voice acting, I think what you've seen on the show floor is pretty much what we've been doing with the series in the past, which is before the text appears, you get like a very simple voice that pops up and you hear that, and then the text appears on screen. In the final version, we do intend to do something slightly different from that. We haven't finalized exactly how we're going to handle the voice in the game, but we are looking at different things. Well, obviously there's gameplay in the game that does take time elements into consideration, but nothing nearly as dynamic as the traveling through 7 years that you did in Ocarina of Time. We think that we really kind of did a really good job with that in Ocarina, and so I don't think that we'll be doing that again.